We at Speaking of Horses would like to thank the people who have made Speaking of Horses TV possible. To Equessentials, all your horse grooming, coat and care products specifically designed for your horse. A thank you to King Barns, custom-built barns, any style, any project you'd like. Get a hold of King Barns. To Overland Carts, if you want that versatile utility cart for your stable that can do anything, check out Overland Carts. Stall Butler, a unique design on how you can muck your stalls and save 90% of your shavings for reuse. Check out Stall Butler. And Eagle Erie Equine, modular systems for saddle racks, tack bars, and the like. Totally organize your tack room with Eagle Erie Equine. Thanks to all of these fine people who make Speaking of Horses possible. Hi, this is Wayne Williams, Speaking of Horses. Hey, have you ever heard of Skijoring? Well, we want to tell you about Skijoring. We want to tell you all about it, and we went into northwestern Wisconsin, what they would call the way up Northland. We met with Shane Jorgensen and some of his compadres who are working at improving or increasing membership in the Skijoring clubs around northwestern Wisconsin. Skijoring is very popular in the West. We're working on the Midwest. Shane and his people gathered. We've got a little video to show you. So let's watch this and let's enjoy Shane and his people as they tell you all about Skijoring right here on Speaking of Horses. Right now, let's join Shane and the group as they continue with their Skijoring discussions about a sport you might want to get involved in. Listen.
Hello, my name is Shane Jorgensen, and we're here with Wayne Williams of Speaking of Horses, excuse me. And we have Bo Jorgensen and Dan Arvold with us. And we're just going to do a brief interview, a little bit about our Skijoring event in northern Wisconsin. So just a little bit of history about the Skijoring event. My brother Bo and I have been competing for a number of years now out in the western states, Montana basically. And so last year was a good year for Bo. I believe in overall, Bo finished 7th overall. And so we had a wonderful year out there. The snow was great, and so one of the things that we've been looking to do is bring skijoring to the state of Wisconsin. We have a very large amount of winter activities here in Wisconsin, and so one of my friends, Dan Arvold, is here with us today, and Dan is going to be on the horse end of things, I guess you could say, and Dan will be doing some of the riding, and then both Bo and I will compete, both the skier and rider. So we come from a family of a lot of horse interest, and we do a lot with horses year round, and so it was a kind of a link to giving us something to do in the winter months. So a little bit about the sport. Bo, do you got any history on the skijoring?
Well, it started back in Norwegian when they first started pulling skiers, cross-country skiers, just for a way of getting people cross-country. You know, they just wanted a faster way to get from point A to point B, so they decided to hold on to the lead rope and follow the horse where it goes. And it just turned into some kind of sport then.
Actually gotten a little more extreme. I tell you,
Sure.
I never realized just how fast you could really go behind the horse. So I'm hoping to maybe get a little slower horse than Dan's the day of the event, because as you can see that smile on Dan,
mine's a little greener.
There's going to be no mercy on that day. So it's we're pretty excited about it. It's definitely one of those things that I think people are going to find a lot of interest in, and enjoy the time to bring our horse people out and bring our skiers together, and be a wonderful day for an event. So we'll definitely be getting some more footage and be in touch with all you folks again.
All right, I'm ready when you are. Sure. Let her rock.
Well, we're back here. We're just going to do a little bit of explaining a little bit about the gear, how to kind of get started in skijoring. Number one, we're going to need a skier, and number two is a good horse. So just a little bit about I'll explain a little bit about the saddle and the rigging. Any typical horn saddle would work very well for a skijoring. Just a good solid tree in it. Doesn't necessarily need to be a rope and saddle or anything fancy in that state, just a good healthy saddle. And then we have a couple different connects. Generally, we'll use the horn of the saddle. And Dan?
Well, what we've got here, Shane, is we've got a 50-foot rope, and this is either dallied onto the horn of the saddle, or you've got some rigging there with a D-ring in it where you can hook it on the back of the saddle, and the rope can get hooked right in there. Sorry, nice. I don't want me to get in your face here.
You're alright.
Nice.
So you can either go that route. A little bit about the rope. It is 50 foot like I mentioned, but the rope does not have any knots in it. Maybe you can explain a little bit, Shane, as far as how the rope's used and how it's used on the course.
One of the things with the rope is a lot of people expect the rope to be similar to a water ski rope, where it would have a handle at the end and it would be a fixed area of holding on. That's a little different in the Skijoring, as with the 50-foot rope. A lot of times I have seen skiers utilize the whole rope. So you are constantly climbing the rope and losing rope as you go over the jumps in the slalom. You might get a little bit out of shape, a little bit of rope might slide through your hands, but then you're continually climbing the rope. And then of course, you know, being further up on that rope at the end of your run is definitely going to give you your fastest time. So the rope is definitely a real important part of it, in the sense of learning to work the rope. So that does get to be a little more important as to climbing the rope and so on and so forth that way. So, and like I said, some people don't necessarily, as Dan said, we don't necessarily like the rope laying across their leg from the horn. So then we use a rigging like this that would just go on the back of the saddle from the two D-rings. One of the judges will connect that rope up to this as you come into the chute, and the rest is pretty much history after that. So Bo will tell you a little bit about the ski equipment that we use for the event. Bo, it looks like you got a pretty nice pair of skis. Do they all have to be that nice?
No, not at all. I mean, the first skiers used something like what I got behind me on the wall when they skied behind the horse. It was very primitive. These days, you know, it's gotten a little more, the equipment's got a lot better. A good pair of downhill skis though is all you need, and the boots to lock in. Other than that, you don't need much equipment. As long as you got a good pair of skis, boots, and a helmet would probably be recommended. It can get a little crazy out there when you're going over some jumps. So other than that, just have fun. Hang on and have fun.
Especially when I'm pulling you.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Super. Well, we're already putting our money on the fastest horse, and of course the skier is a big part of that. It's a big question, is it a horse race or a skier's race? So we're always controversy over that. So, well, what we'll do next is maybe we'll introduce a little bit about some of the regulations and course type. So we'll be back with you soon. Well, here we are back at with the Skijoring segment. We're going to talk a little bit about just some of the rules and regulations of it. We talked a little bit about the gear, our skis, rope, good horse, good skier, and we had mentioned whether it would be a horse race or a skier's race. So Bo can tell us a little bit. He's definitely been on the long end of that rope. A little bit about the skiing. How does that timer start then, Boaz?
Well, since it is a skier's race, the skier is the one that's timed. You will get to the first timing session. You'll go through a couple of gates. There'll be a trip timer that will start your clock when you get through, and then you will do the track and the jumps. And when you are done, you'll have to trip another timer, go through the finish line, and the skier is timed. And it's who does it the fastest.
Super. So I noticed something I'm always working on when I'm on the long end of that rope. Is that I like to be on that rope a little bit towards the very end of that rope when we cross that timer at the first.
Yep, as far away from the horse as you can, so you don't start the timer too fast.
Right.
But when you finish, you want to get as close to the horse as you can, so you can get the shortest time.
Right, and so then that's, I've noticed that some of our times get even faster the faster we get on that horse. And I've actually seen it where the skier is almost parallel with the horse crossing that time. So that's going to be at a level that, well, someday I hope to be there, I guess. But so anyway, Dan, on the judging end of things, how does that work with the judging? Is there?
Well, you were mentioned before about the gates here. The judge, he's on horseback and he follows around behind the horse on the inside of the track. Mm-hmm. If a skier misses one of the gates, he's penalized by 5 seconds per gate that he misses.
And then that's put on his total time then, correct?
It is, okay. And the total time, the least amount of time to get across that line is your goal. So at the end, like you guys know, when you're coming up to the very end, you're pulling that rope and going as hard as you can to try getting across that line so you can finish that.
Right.
Super.
Yeah, so that's definitely going to be a crucial part is to make each one of these gates. Now these gates are real similar to a slalom run on a downhill. They are different colored, a red and a blue, and so that identifies right of the red, left of the blue on the slalom part of the track. And there's a lot of different variables when it comes to these pins. Sometimes we make them a challenge where it might be 2 blues in a row versus 2 reds. We kind of switch it up according to the technical side of how technical we want to get. The courses that we have ran out in Montana and in the western states has been a style of track that's in a horseshoe, and on that track are 3 jumps and 5 slaloms. So some of the different tracks, I mean, these ski-joring events can be held pretty much anywhere there's snow. That's the most important, obviously. But sometimes we've done them on city streets where it might be just a straightaway. We have the city come in and put a snow base down. We create our jumps, and then they can be a straight run for a horse and skier. And that can also be just a different style of ski-joring then. But in most cases, we've kind of had really good luck and really enjoyed the horseshoe part of the slalom course. And so it's definitely one of those things that we can pretty much make it and create whatever and how technical we want to make the course. So yeah, we'll definitely be back, and maybe we'll get to show you some footage of some actual racing then.
We at Speaking of Horses would like to thank some of the people who helped to make Speaking of Horses TV possible. A big thank you to Equine Clot. Equine Clot is a wonderful product. Carry it in your saddlebag, put it in your first aid kit, wrap it on an equine wound. It immediately promotes clotting and is a great first aid tool. Thank you to Equine Clot. And to EquestraSafe, a complete line of equestrian riding products for trail, for arena, for wherever. From reflective vests, reflective headgear, tapes, signage, everything you need to ride safely and to be safe with your horse is available at EquestraSafe.com. Check them out. Thanks to all of the fine people that make Speaking of Horses TV possible.
Well, just a little recap about what we went over today on our Skijoring event. Just to let you know, it's definitely going to be one of those things that anybody in the family can participate. We have both myself, my girls are involved in it. Bo, you have an 8-year-old daughter and one that's coming up that's showing some interest in it. And Dan, you have
I had a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old.
Excellent, excellent. So this is, you know, it's definitely something that the whole family can be part of, and we just want to make it, make sure that people understand that it's something that the whole family can do. Just some of the basic, having good downhill skis, which most people in this part of the country have hanging on the wall, and rope and some horse, and definitely could be a wonderful family event. So, you know, if we can just give you a little bit of information about it, and if anybody would be interested in getting more information on it and how to contact us, it'd be Lost Creek Ranch and Carriage Company, and we'd definitely feel free to email you back any information. We can get some more photos, but definitely looking for people to be interested in it, and maybe take this to a new level here in the Midwest. I know in the western part of the state, Skijoring is a really popular winter activity. So hoping to maybe get something started a little bit more here in the Midwest. So thank you very much, and enjoy the sport.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Coming off the drop.
Well, that's our Speaking of Horses presentation on skijoring. It's quite a sport if you live in an area or travel to an area in the wintertime where you have quite a bit of snow and you love horses as well. Skijoring might be for you. Thank you for joining us on our trip through skijoring with Shane Jorgensen and all the crew here on Speaking of Horses. We'll see you down the trail. Well, we'd like to take a moment and thank people who make Speaking of Horses TV possible. We want to thank One Source Nutrition, the perfect blend of nutrients to help your horse. It's One Source Nutrition. And Revitavet, equine light therapy for either toning up muscles before competitions or to promote rapid healing. You want Revitavet. Equine Savings. This program can save you up to 25% on tractors, stable equipment, yes, and even on barn paint. Be sure and go to Equine Savings and check it out. To Hoosier Horse Trailers. Quality horse trailers, living quarters, you and your horse can ride in comfort. And Saratoga Stalls. Classic equine stalls built specifically for you. Thank you to Saratoga Stalls. And thanks to everyone who makes Speaking of Horses TV possible.